KK sir, we'll wait for some more time.
Yes, sir. We'll wait for 2 more minutes and then we can start.
Sure.
Sir, we'll start, sir.
Okay, sir. Yes, thank you. Yeah, good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to another virtual open house of Kumaraguru College of Liberal Arts and Science. And today the host is Department of Economics. And as it is said, economics is the base on which the superstructure of society is built. Probably my fellow friends in political science department and social work might differ on this, but I'm trying to draw your attention to the importance of economics and also the importance of studying economics. And secondly, also the current COVID pandemic also brought the importance of economics. And the very mention of lockdown is scaring the people because their economy is affected. And thirdly, also very importantly, it is also important to study economics because of the rising global south. There's something called rising global south. Probably we'll take it up in the later part of our discussion. For now, with these initial words, I welcome and request one of our students, Nupur, to do the welcome note. Over to you, Nupur.
Yes, sir. A very good evening to one and all present here. It's indeed a pleasure to welcome you all to the Economic Virtual Open House of the Kumaraguru College of Liberal Arts and Science. Most of you are here to understand what economics is, or what will be the thought at class in the BA Economic course, and what are the opportunities that are available along with this course. So to start with, economics is concerned with the subject matter of production, consumption, and distribution of various goods and services. Rather talking about the technical definition, I would like to put it this way, that economics is the careful study of our households and the whole economy. Along with that, it teaches an individual, business, government, and organization to choose among various options and make best use of time, money, and resources. Moving further, Kumaraguru College provides many opportunities to the students. Expert conversations were conducted this year. Many prominent people address critical issues in microeconomics. Also, the college has something called Class H program and Class H Plus program that will be explained by our faculty. The BA Economic course at class will provide you the best insights into economics. Though we had the first semester online, the faculty made sure that we weren't stressed. The second semester is also being conducted online due to the increasing COVID cases. Online classes have become the new normal, and it's been 8 months since our college has started with the online mode. Always make sure to learn from the experience of others. We don't necessarily have to be smarter than the rest, just more disciplined than the rest. And now I will hand over the platform to our faculty.
Thanks, Nupur, for such a lively welcome. Now I request my co-faculty, Ms. Aswati, to introduce, to do the introduction about our organization, that is KCLAS. the Kumaraguru College of Liberal Arts and Science. Over to you, Ashwat.
Thank you, Sundar, for the warm words of welcome. It's an immense pleasure for me to talk about the Kumaraguru Group of Institutions. But before that, I would like to say a few words about the founder of the institution and the legacy of Shakti Groups. Next slide. Arutchelvam Dr. N. Mahalingam Iyer is the founder of Shakti Group of Companies and Kumaraguru Institutions. Shakti Group of Companies is an Indian multinational conglomerate company who has its operations in India, China, Middle East, Europe, and USA. They have created a benchmark in almost all the sectors of the economy, and they are known for their contributions in the field of education and healthcare. Mahalingam Iyer himself was an educationalist, industrialist, and philanthropist. He served as the member of Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly between the period 1952 to 1967. He was the honorary consul from the government of Mauritius between 1989 to 92. He also served as the chairman of Ediraj College of Women between 1972 to 1980. For his notable contributions to the society, he was awarded the most prestigious award in our country, Padma Bhushan Award, in the year 2007. Next slide. Now talking about our Kumaraguru institutions. Kumaraguru institution started its Kumaraguru College of Technology. We popularly call it as KCT in the year 1984. And now it has a student strength of 5374 with 14 departments and 375 faculty members. Kumaraguru started its business school in the year 2005, and we call it as KCT Business School, and it has a student strength of 358, and they offer 2 programs, and they have a faculty strength of 19. Knowing the importance of agriculture, Kumaraguru Institution has established Kumaraguru Institute of Agriculture in the year 2014. And finally, in the year 2018, they established Kumaraguru College of Liberal Arts and Science, and we call it as KCLAS. And our class has 10 departments with 856 students, and we have 45 faculty members. Next slide. And audience, now is the poll time. And we like to know how you would have come across Kumaraguru institutions. So there will be poll questions posted, and in 30 seconds, you're requested to answer these poll questions. And in the meantime, you can also post any of your queries in the chat thread, and we'll be having a Q&A session after the presentation. Okay, so yes, from others, they have come to know about Kumaraguru institution, and 33% people have come to know about the institution from website. Thank you. Thank you. Next slide. And yes, as I told, we call Kumaraguru College of Liberal Arts and Science as KCLAS, and KCLAS is affiliated to Bardiyar University. It is ranked in the 13th position by NIRF in the year 2021. And KCLAS has different schools like School of Finance, Business and Economics, School of Social Work, School of Social Sciences, and School of Communication and Humanities. The undergraduate program BA Economics is falling under the category of School of Finance, Business and Economics. So in this slide, we will be talking about the educational model of KCLAS. And KCLAS follows a liberal arts education where we focus more on developing the intellectual ability of students. We also focus more on interdisciplinary approach This notion of interdisciplinary approach will make the students to shine and excel in various domains. So now in front of your eyes, you have this T-shaped image. So the vertical line over here is talking about the class score, and the horizontal line over here is talking about the class H and class H plus. So the vertical line in class score, talks about the depth of knowledge and where the students will choose whatever area of domain they are choosing, they will be studying the subject matter in depth. And the horizontal shaped line, the class H and H plus, is being given to the students to have a strong understanding of the subject matter. And in the forthcoming slides, you will be getting more clarity while I'm talking in detail about your class H and H plus and class 4 courses. Class H programs are basically designed to bridge the gap between theoretical learning and practical applications, where students will be exposed to expert conversations, where we invite a resource person from academic or industrial background and they will deliver a talk. We also have workshops, study visits, online courses, internships, etc. And Class H plus programs are designed to give exposure to students beyond the classroom learning. Here we have international summer schools, and we do offer professional courses like CA, CMA, and diploma programs. Students will also be exposed to leadership camps, etc. Under class core, students will be learning in depth the discipline chosen by them. The chosen discipline will have core courses where they will be learning the subject matter in a very elaborate manner. Followed by that, we have allied courses. These allied courses are designed in such a way that they have a connection with their core papers. And we do have skill-based courses which are designed in such a way that develops the intellectual ability of the students. And in modern times, we always speak about the importance of communication and how communication is playing a major role in sharing the ideas to one another. So based on that, we have language courses, and the rest we have elective, non-elective, and value-added courses, project, job-oriented courses, etc. So in one simple statement, I can say that class core gives an in-depth knowledge to the students. So now I'm handling the thing to my department lead, Sundar sir.
Thank you, Aswati, for such a wonderful introduction to our organization and also explaining our culture and the values and the approach that we follow. Thank you. Thank you so much. And now we will be moving ahead with the second part of this presentation, and where I will be doing that. And myself, Sundaravardhan, and the department lead of economics at KCLAS. So in this particular section, we will be dealing with a concept. This is primarily meant for the students who have joined here today to raise an interest in them, partly also to make them aware of what kind of things they can expect from the Class BA Economics program. And and especially in this particular presentation, which would be there for about 7 to 8 minutes, we try to build on a very familiar concept that many of the students who studied economics at 11th and 12th are aware of. Okay, so we titled our story, and we want to do this concept in a form of in the form of story, and we titled it as the story of demand and supply. And to raise the interest of the students, and we gave it a short form to our story, that is TSDS. Please make a note of it. We'll come to that. Why such a short form to the title of the story, which is the story of demand and supply. Now, many of the students, and probably this is also a pointer to the parents who have joined here, to be aware of the kind of critical thinking we'll be pushing the students towards. Okay, and for the students, they're very much familiar with this demand curve and supply curve, the downward sloping demand curve and the upward sloping demand curve, which explains the price formation and the quantity formation. Like the market price is typically seen as interaction of demand curve and supply curve. And this is famously called as the Marshallian cross. In the economic literature, it is famously called as Marshallian cross. And this is Alfred Marshall, who is pioneer of this way of doing economics. And a little advanced thing is that this particular approach is also called as partial equilibrium approach. Now, what is this story about? I have shown you the familiar diagram of demand curve and supply curve. What is the story about it? What could be, what could one weave a story around this when it is trying to explain the actual reality? So I would rather, make you little reflect in your minds that we will start with a everyday example of toothpaste that every morning most of us brush and we use the toothpaste. And I chose close up because I presume that it is most popular, especially at least in the TV commercials. And I have put Dantkanti because I use it. Just out of my curiosity, I put it. I would like to ask a question, especially to the students and also the others. That did you ever determine the price of a toothpaste, or the toothpaste that you use every day? Because this diagram is telling that the market price or the commodity price is determined by the interaction of demand and supply. But is it really happening? Because we have taken an everyday example of a toothpaste. Is it that you are really determining the price of the toothpaste that you are using? Think about it. We'll again take up another commodity, which is vegetables. Every day in all households, we use vegetables. But again, there might be a little bargain in the local markets on the price of the vegetable. But again, we won't be bargaining the price of the vegetables in a supermarket. I hope you agree with me on that. That the bargaining you do in the local market, you might not be doing. You definitely will not do in a supermarket, like the More supermarket or the Reliance supermarket. So what does this mean? It means that there seems to be no role for a demand in determining the price of the commodities. Okay, but why is it that this particular diagram is very convincingly telling us that the price is determined by the interaction of demand and supply? But a little reflection shows that in reality that doesn't seem to be happening. Then where it is going wrong? I leave it to you to reflect upon. Further moving on this story, it is not that this way of explaining prices is without any criticism. There are even modern economists who are critical of this particular way of explaining prices. One point that emerges from this discussion is that the price determination is different for different commodities, right? And there is a very important modern economist called Haynes Coots. Okay, Haynes Coots, he makes a very two valid observations on the demand and supply curves. He says that the symmetry of demand and supply is doubtful. Okay, And secondly, he says that these curves appear to be tricky. They are problematic on closer inspection. So they seem to be problematic. And for your information, I had a great opportunity to interact with Heinz Goods at some point of time. And in his informal conversation, he told that he visited Coimbatore in one of his visits to India, and probably we are also planning to get him on board at some point of time. Now, you might accuse me that only modern economists are criticizing this concept. It seems not. Even if you go a little back into the history of economic thought, even the older economists, as it was called political economy at that time, one of the political economists, the known political economist, David Ricardo, in his chapter, which is very classically titled as "On the Influence of Demand and Supply on Prices," he is also saying that, boss, it is the cost of production which is regulating the price of commodities rather than the proportion between the supply and the demand. Then you come little into the modern time, we have a very preeminent women economist, Joan Robinson, who in her very famous article titled as Some Reflections on the Philosophy of Prices, she was also very critical of this particular approach, and she says that this approach doesn't produce any beneficial results. Okay, now now we are towards the end of our story, and what our story tells is that we can take this as the moral of the story, that the demand and supply curve, they seem to be problematic to make economics a relevant policy science. And mind you, economics all said and done is a policy science, but this demand and supply curves are of little help to make economics as a relevant policy science. And in this regard, we have our own economists, the great Nobel laureates, Mr. Abhijit Banerjee and our own Amartya Sen. They are also critical of this particular demand and supply approach. Of course, they were not explicit in their critique, but they were really critical of the kind of policy decisions that this particular theory is supporting, especially the condition of market superiority. They were critical in many of their writings. So this is the story of demand and supply, and I want you to take this story, think about it, and reflect if this makes sense, so that you can have your own answers. Okay, so so this is the story that we wanted to share as a concept, and then we'll go again to the second poll to know about your views, about your responses. Then we'll continue with our presentation. I don't see any active participation in the polling. Can I request the participants to give their options? Yeah, it would be great, I know, if we make it a little interactive, if we know your responses. I'm not seeing many responses so far. KK, should I wait for some more time, or should I read out the?
They are polling. We'll wait for 30 seconds.
Choose. Right. Wonderful. So I'll read out the poll results that, out of the 5 questions that we got, that we shared, 75% of the attendees say that they know about the start year of class, and 25% of them don't know. Majority of them, they know. And 50% have shared that they want to do liberal arts and science for their undergraduation, and 50% they are saying arts, pure arts, and 88% of the people, they don't know the tea education before this session. Only 13% know about it. And the importance of tea education today, it is a mixed response, where I get I see 50% rating it as 4, and 25% as 2, and 13% as 1. Okay. Then most of the people, they know what either their friend or relative studying in class. That is 88%. Wonderful then. So I think KK sir, we are done with the poll.
Yes, sir. We can move on.
Yeah. Thank you. So now we are into a kind of we are into the final section of today's presentation, where now I would be walking you through the Department of Economics. Yes, and the Department of Economics is very much anchored into the broader philosophy of class of liberal arts, where liberal arts is very much inspired from the Greco-Roman tradition, blended with the ancient Indian tradition of combining natural sciences, social sciences, creative arts, and humanities. So that is the philosophy of liberal arts. And in this context, the Department of Economics is strongly anchored. And the approach, the motto of the Department of Economics is holism and realistic. And this is also partly why we did the TSGS story. That the TSGS story doesn't seem to be realistic, at least the way we look at it in a critical manner. So that explains partly the motto of our department. And also, we believe in ideas and perspectives, where in modern day, where economics is seen more as a mathematical or a quantitative subject. In fact, which is little a stereotype way of looking at economics, because economics is a social science where ideas and perspectives matter. Okay, so that is also the focus of our department at KCLAS. Now, and this is the faculty profile of our department. A very vibrant faculty profile, drawn from from the top institutes, academic institutes in India. Myself, I am the product of University of Hyderabad, and my co-faculty Ashwati, she has a stint with MIDS Chennai. MIDS is the Madras Institute of Development Studies. And then we have another co-faculty, Shafiq. He is from ISEC Bangalore. ISEC is Institute of Social and Economic Change, started by one of the preeminent Indian economists of the past, V.K.R.B. Rao. So this is the vibrant faculty profile of our department who believe in the holism and the realistic approach that we have. And moving on further, that we are there as faculty, and what you expect from the BA Economics program is that, as we are affiliated to the Bharatiyar University, we follow the CBCS pattern of that university, which is the choice-based credit system, and it is spread over 3 years into 6 semesters. And coming to the curriculum, it is an excellent mix of theory, applied, and quantitative papers. Theory, you have the standard micro economics. Then you have a very critical paper called History of Economic Thought, which I am very happy indeed. We are very happy that is there as core paper, which is very critical paper when you are doing theory in economics, which is almost non-existent in many of the departments outside of Tamil Nadu. So in a way, students are very lucky to have that. And you have the applied papers of statistics, mathematics, and econometrics, which are the things, the fancy things, that you have these days. So we also take care of those things. It's not that we are orthodox in only dealing with theory. Then you have the quantitative papers. Sorry, the slight mix-up. Rather, the quantitative papers are the statistics, mathematics, and econometrics. The applied papers are the agricultural economics, industrial economics, and tourism. Sorry about that mix-up. So you have a very excellent mix of the papers in your BA Economics program, which will definitely make you equip you when you pass out from the program. Then, this is the question of most of the students and also their parents. What you get of doing an economics undergrad program. And I tell you, the career prospects for economists are immense. Okay, and of course, KCLAS. There's also another thing that mentioned that KCLAS aims for a research. It is a very much research-focused institution, focused on the liberal arts framework, also focused on the critical thinking. So ideally, we expect the students that the students joining here, they take up higher education. They go for higher education, and they take up for master's courses in economics. Some of them are interested, go for master's courses in management in India or abroad universities. And in India, you have very excellent universities for master's courses, where you can think of JNU New Delhi, and JNU New Delhi is ranked as the top central university in India. JNU stands for Jawaharlal Nehru University. Then you have my own university, University of Hyderabad, which is also called as HCU. Then you have IGIDR in Bombay, which stands for Indira Gandhi Institute of Development Research. Like that, you have other universities as well. Then, of course, economists who do undergrad courses in economics stand equally good when they aspire for master's courses in management. And you, based upon your CAT scores, you can think of joining the top management institutes, the IIMs or the XLRA. Then ideally, much of the, of course, if you aspire for a career immediately after your bachelor's, there are opportunities, but ideally, because we suggest you go for masters, because that opens up a lot of opportunities for you. And in this regard, there are a lot of policy research opportunities in public and private sectors. In public, you have institutions like NABARD, then like NCAER, which is a Council for Applied Economic Research. And in private sector, there are a lot of demand for economists, and especially now with the CSR funding, a lot of organizations are coming into the social sector. You have the Ajim Premji Foundation, you have the Reliance Foundation, you have the Tata Trust, where there is a lot of demand for trained economists. Then, if you aspire for government sector jobs, you have the coveted Indian Economic Service. Of course, you need a master's for this. And you have the RBI and other government services, where they periodically recruit economists, trained economists, who are also have qualifications in economics and the related courses, even with undergrad eligibility. And of course, economic journalism, that is also much sought after. You have the Hindu Business Line, the Business Standard, and of course, the Economic Times, where there is scope for economists to get into economic journalism. Then, of course, this is not pretty much, less known to many people, that there is a very lucrative sector in the corporate area of business and market research, where companies like Deloitte, Reuters, and KPMG, they recruit the economists. So I tell you, there are umpteen opportunities for economists, and you can really, you can be at rest if you have any doubts for opportunities for economists. Then moving on, as we have been stressing on our motto, on our objectives, on the educational approach of KCLAS, the broader objective of liberal arts, is that we aspire that our the undergraduate foundation would definitely make the student competitive to enter the eminent centers of higher education. And in this regard, we have a dedicated future center, to help the students in their choices as they graduate in the program. Then, if you are interested to enter into the job market also, our training would definitely help you. And in this regard, we have the dedicated placement cell as part of the future center, who would be coordinating and helping the students in this regard. So this is what, as a department, we offer for the students. And of course, this is a glimpse of the kind of activities that we do. Like, they directly or indirectly help you in the students' aspirations, be it career-wise or academic-wise. The kind of the workshops, the kind of expert conversations that we have been doing till date. And this is a kind of a interesting collage. We thought, would give you a kind of a snapshot of our activities. And we really take pride, the kind of resource persons that we are able to get to talk to our students. And these are some of the resource persons that we invited them. They were really happy to accept our invitation and interact with our students on their respective subject areas. You have Professor Rajeshwari Raina, one of the big figures in the agricultural sector in India. You can also Google them, and you get to know the results. The kind of experts they are in the respective fields. When you have Omkar Nath, his book for undergraduate students is very popular these days, and he tried to break a new ground in writing textbooks for economics, especially for the undergraduates. Then you have Amirullah Khan. He was an ex-IAS. He quit his IAS just after his probation, and moved into the economic policy area. And he was also formerly professor with the Indian School of Business, Hyderabad. Then, we had the opportunity to also get on board Dr. Alex Thomas of Ajim Premji University, who is an expert in history of economic thought. Then moving further, it is not that we just operate in isolation or in silos. We do collaborate with other departments to broaden our horizons, where we take up various academic activities, also project works, which also broadens our understanding of the subject and also make it applied. It's not just theory, learning the tools, also applying it to understand the real world, and where we do collaborations with think tanks and policy research centers outside of class. And in this regard, our department could work out a collaboration, an MOU collaboration with a New Delhi-based policy research institute called IMPRI. And of course, this again we did in collaboration with the Department of Commerce and Department of Political Science, where Department of Commerce took the lead. And this also partly explains our approach of interdisciplinarity, right? The liberal arts is to bring the different streams together and work. So that also explains our approach in doing the collaborations. And in the these are the probables that are there. We are pretty much sure that we will be able to close these collaborations. That we did. We are looking forward to collaboration with European Society for the History of Economic Thought. It's a very renowned body internationally. Then there is a Institute for New Economic Thinking. Then we are looking forward to a MOU collaboration with the Hyderabad-based policy think tank called CDPP. So this is on the department side. Then, of course, class. These are the class collaborations with many promising centers, academic centers, policy think tanks, so on and so forth, where you can find universities like Manchester Metropolitan University, or the Asia Pacific University of Malaysia, and Swinburne University of Technology. Then, of course, the prestigious Harvard Business School and the Harvard Business Publishing. So this is to give an idea on how we are going about about our objective and motive of giving the value addition to our students. So these also help the students to when they want to pursue any course of their interest. So these collaborations will come handy for us. Then this is our institutional preparedness. The next couple of slides I will show you. You can note down that how prepared the class is, especially in this unprecedented times of the COVID pandemic, where we could really adjust, for a seamless, uninterrupted, education for the students, where we floated this co-ed Kumaraguru online education platform for virtual sessions, and where class or the Kumaraguru institutions did a tie-up with Microsoft Teams to roll out the virtual form of educational instruction. And these are some of the statistics which are really impressive, so that you can note in this slide. Then, as I've been telling about the institutional support, we do have a very prestigious scholarship, that is the Mahatma Gandhi Merit Scholarship, in memory of our founder, Dr. N. Mahalingam. That every year we give merit scholarships for the top 8 to 10 students in each department. Of course, it's subject to certain conditions. So those are earmarked for each department. So this is the institutional support that you get at class. And of course, there is a student council, which is a platform for the students to really own up their leadership skills. And these are the current council students. They're part of the student leadership, and we strongly encourage our students to take up leadership roles, and where the student council is an ideal platform. And moving on to the departmental achievements, the student achievements, because we have dedicated student research and kind of a one-on-one mentoring sessions, and these are the reflective of of our efforts, that they get they get recognized in outside competitions. So these are a sample of the achievements of our students. So I hope that pretty much sums up what we are, what class is, and what department of economics is. So in this regard, I hope you would be interested. Of course, we would like to have you in person, but that looks a little distant reality in these current times. We thought that a virtual tour would make up for that. And now we would share the video of our esteemed organization. Please have a look at it. Yeah, that's it. That's for the video. Thanks for watching it. And moving further, uh, then I also like this is the standard procedure of doing the admission process. But a word of caution to the prospective students is that you shouldn't be looking at any organization, especially for us. We would expect that don't do it in a transactional manner. That you complete the admission formalities and be a passive consumers. Knowledge gaining or knowledge contribution is a two-way process. We teach, and you put your effort and further get back to us. That's how the learning process happens. So these are the standard admission formalities. Of course, it is little rigorous, the admission process that we have, in the sense that it is a six step process, where the step D would be the crucial, right? Where you would be really assessing the student profile. Otherwise, you standardly go to our website, see the eligibility criteria, and choose the choice of your program. Then you do the registration process for the basic details. Then you fill up the application form with all the relevant documents. Then comes the step D, where we would be evaluating the each application form on these three criteria of the student's performance in school, then the knowledge element. This would be done, probably we will ask you to do a small write-up, or also we'll assess from your scores in the different subjects. Then we'll also be doing a personal round. We would be interacting with the students to really see whether he would really be apt to the class culture. Yeah. And then after completing this, the three-stage process of step D, then we give you the conditional offer based on certain technical things, where you meet certain criteria of the eligibility and all the final checks. Then we'll give you the provisional admission. So this is about the selection process that we have. It is of course rigorous. So then moving on to it, we are almost into the final minutes of today's presentation, and we would have a small poll here, and post which we can take question and answer session. You can put your questions in the chat, or you can unmute and ask if that option is there for you. Yeah. Wonderful. So I think we are done with the poll, and I see very interesting answers. And for the first question, what are the top 3 aspects that you like the most in today's presentation? I see 71% saying about class, and also 71% saying about BA economics program, and also 71% saying career prospects for economics. That is great to know. Then, have you visited campus anytime? 50%, 57% are saying yes. I'm not sure if you have explored in your visits the things that we have shown in our virtual video tool. Okay, it's an amazing campus. I'm not sure if you have seen those parts of our college. Then, how keen are you to enroll in class? And I see almost 43% saying yes, they are rating it as 5, and it's near about 70% they're saying like a 4 and 5. That's also wonderful to know. Then what do you expect from a college? Of course, 71% saying good subject knowledge, 71% saying overall development, and good infrastructure 29%, and good faculty 29%. And coming to the last question, the fifth question, the career aspirations, 14% say economists, 29% say government private jobs, and 57% say others. And it's also interesting answers. They want to be public policy maker, shared by 14% of the attendees. And the final question of what course is of interest to you, and 71% of the attendees say Bachelor of Arts Economics. They like the BA Economics program. That is wonderful to know. So that is wonderful to know. Of course, there are other 29% interested in BBA and other courses. Definitely, we respect your choices. Wonderful. So, Sir KK sir, we are done with the poll. Can we move on to the Q&A session?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. So we can go for the Q&A session. I saw a raised hand in between by G Naveen. I'm not sure if he has any question. We can ask him to, if he has any question to ask, or if some of you also feel free to put it in the chat box, because this is a virtual environment and there are many problems with the technology, and the mics might not be working properly. So if you feel, you can also put it, any of your questions, in the chat box.
No questions, sir.
No questions. Wonderful. Then thanks for your participation. And now I request another of our student, Senthil, to do the vote of thanks. Over to you, Senthil.
A very good evening to all. It is an honor for me to have the opportunity to give vote of thanks on this special day. I, on behalf of the Department of Economics at KCLAS, first spread my sincere thanks to the Almighty and extend a hearty vote of thanks to all the attendees of this virtual open house for their presence and contribution in making this event successful. Further, a big thanks for the host for presenting and explaining the things beautifully in their own state and answering to the queries raised by the attendees. I mention my sincere sense of gratitude to them. A special thanks to Mrs. Vigila Kennedy, Principal of KCLAS, for providing the support to make the event successful. I also want to thank the faculty members, Mr. Sundaravarthan, Department Lead, and Ms. Ashwati and Mr. Shafiq department coordinators for their cooperation in this event. We are fortunate to thank the dedicated and well-motivated team of our college who are aware of their tasks and are very concerned about the results. Finally, I would like to thank each and every one of you present here, and with the hope that every participant would have gained some insights about the economics course offered by class. We would like to end the session here. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Senthil. Thanks so much. And all the participants, finally, we again welcome you for another virtual open house tomorrow about the data science. The School of Data Science would be hosting the tomorrow's virtual open house. We welcome you all and your friends and relatives to tomorrow's virtual open house. And thank you. Have a great day ahead, and please stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.